India's lost Chandrayaan-1 spacecraft discovered orbiting Moon by NASA. How did NASA able to detect Chandrayaan-1? Why it is tricky to find hazardous spacecraft in Moon's orbit? What is the significance of Chandrayaan-1 mission? GS Paper 3, Science and Technology. What is the context about? India's first lunar probe, Chandrayaan-1 spacecraft, which was considered lost, is still orbiting the Moon, NASA scientists have found by using a new ground-based radar technique. ISRO lost communication with Chandrayaan-1 on August 29, 2009, almost a year after it was launched. NASA scientists have successfully located the spacecraft still circling some 200 kilometers above the lunar surface. How did NASA able to detect Chandrayaan-1? NASA have been able to detect the Indian Space Research Organization's Chandrayaan-1 spacecraft in lunar orbit with ground-based radar. The Chandrayaan-1 spacecraft is very small, a cube about 1.5 meters on each side, about half the size of a smart car. To find a spacecraft 380,000 kilometers away, NASA used 70-meter antenna. It had sent out a powerful beam of microwaves directed towards the Moon. Then the radar echoes bounced back from lunar orbit were received by the 100-meter Green Bank telescope. Why it is tricky to find hazardous spacecraft in Moon's orbit? Finding a derelict spacecraft at lunar distance is tricky because the Moon is riddled with muscons, regions with higher than average gravitational pull, that can dramatically affect a spacecraft's orbit over time, and even cause it to have crashed into the Moon. What is the significance of Chandrayaan-1 mission? The Chandrayaan-1 mission performed high-resolution remote sensing of the Moon in visible, near-infrared, NIR, low-energy X-rays and high-energy X-ray regions. One of the objectives was to prepare a three-dimensional atlas, with high spatial and altitude resolution, of both near and far side of the Moon. It aimed at conducting chemical and mineralogical mapping of the entire lunar surface for distribution of mineral and chemical elements such as magnesium, aluminium, silicon, calcium, iron, and titanium, as well as high atomic number elements such as radon, uranium and thorium with high spatial resolution, an ISRO report had stated.